How's it, everyone? Hope you're having an amazing day. Welcome to How's It Cousins, the podcast where we take a look at the unique people of the world and the interesting things they do. We talk about them, we relate to them, and hopefully we can help you, the audience, relate as well and hang out with us and have fun. This week, we are excited for the release of the live-action Aladdin, as funny as that sounds, and what better way to celebrate that than to take a look at its, we'll say, controversial but yet still awesome pick for a headline character as the genie, Will Smith.
How's it, Chris? Are you talking about Will Smith? Yo, I'm down to talk about Will Smith. Let's do this.
Aloha, Alvin. Welcome to the Will Smith podcast.
Yeah, man, I'm always down to talk to you. It's always fun. Let's do it.
All right, before we get started, I want to remind everyone that we are broadcasting this recording live at twitch.tv/HowsItNetwork. Make sure, if you want to hang out with us, throw your 2 cents into the show, jump into our chat. If you follow us on social media at How's It Network, Twitter, Instagram, you'll know exactly when we're going to do our recordings, so you'll always be up to date on the latest news. If you like what you're hearing, check us out on all the popular podcast services, including iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, Stitcher, and now iHeartRadio.
Yes.
HowsItNetwork.com has a collection of everything we're doing, so that's always a good hub too. Alvin, anything you want to plug before we get started?
Yes, my name is Aloha Alvin, and I'm working on something big. Please check up on me on at alohaAlvin.com.
All right, so let's start actually with Aladdin itself. Are you a fan of the 1992 Aladdin animated movie?
Okay, I'm going to just say this. At the time, it was not cool to like that. At least that's how my friends were rolling. Having said that, man, I don't care. I enjoyed it. I was quite the fan, actually. You
know, I would like to admit that I was older than we'll say the little kids were at that point, and sure. I hope that's not too much revealing of the age, but I still saw it. I remember seeing it in theaters and really enjoying it.
Nice. I don't think I did. I don't know how I saw it. It must have been at a house. It must have been.
Really? You don't think you saw it in the theater? Can't remember at that point?
I don't remember, but my gut says probably a house. Yeah. So
Aladdin's actually part of what they call the Disney Renaissance, which was a time from 1989 to 1999, where Disney really revived its animation department, and they released a bunch of like huge movies. The first being The Little Mermaid, second big one being Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin, and The Lion King. Those are the headliners, we'll say, from this Disney Renaissance. Aladdin being a huge part of it.
Okay, hold up. Is Renaissance your word? Are you throwing that down, or is that like a term?
No, that's like, you can Google that term and it'll come up in Wikipedia as Disney Renaissance.
Interesting. Okay, so I'm not going to shame myself here because I don't remember their names. I'm sorry. I'm sure I have it written down somewhere. But anyway, I met the guys who are like the heads of Disney animation. Anyway, they talked about that. It was funny. I think they were going to do Lion King, and then they said, nah, let's work on something else. You know, who's going to watch that? And of course, that's huge. But I don't think of it as a movement. But in retrospect, no, that's true. I think there was a time when they're questioning doing more animation, which is crazy to me, right? Like, they're tearing it up, or they were tearing it up, and they're still doing well because they're Disney. But it's like, there was a time when they did question. I do remember them talking about that. That's right.
There was, actually, and it was right before this Renaissance era where they actually lost a bunch of animators to a rival studio. So there were some guys that were in Disney. They're like, fuck this, we're out, right? They opened their own animation studio, and they actually created such classics as An American Tail, like, Fievel.
Yes.
That was all part of that. Oh, Secret of Nim was also from a rival studio. It was Don Bluth. So Don Bluth used to work for Disney in the mid 80s. He left from Disney, took some animators with him, and he said, I'm going to open up my own thing. They released some pretty good movies, and that's when Disney's like, oh no, we're in trouble. And then they really had to beef up their animation department.
My friends and I have made fun of Disney for this, so now you can either confirm or deny this. There was a time when they had some movie or collection of movies, and they're like, yo, it's going to go in the vote. You better get it now because it's going to go away. My question to you is, are you familiar with that? And are any of these actually still in the vault?
I think these are the older ones. Like the whole like Cinderella and Snow White, those go into a vault.
Oh, are they? So those I cannot buy them right now. Is what you're saying?
I don't know. Now with digital distribution, I'm not sure if it's easier. I don't know if maybe you can get them online. I haven't even looked, to be honest. But yes, it was the real older ones. And what would happen is they would re-release things on
Yeah,
DVD and Blu-ray every so often in cycles.
Yes. Well, yes, but I mean that was the joke my friends and I were making. It's like you're telling us it's going away, but come on, man, it's not going away. So okay, fair enough.
Live action Aladdin. They're remaking Aladdin after what 92, so now it's what 20 years plus, 20 almost 30 years. Are you excited to see it? Are you gonna see it? I know it's kind of a hype thing surrounding it because they're saying that it's actually better than some of the other remakes, but I don't know if that's still gonna be enough for me to go out and go watch it. What do you think?
Okay, so let's dump on some superhero movies for a second. I thought about that before. There's superhero movies still on the way, and I've asked myself, man, I'm gonna watch that. It dawned on me eventually that I'm just a completionist. It's part of how I'm built, and I'm just gonna watch it. And in the process, man, I hope I enjoy it. Some movies I jones for, like I jones hard, and then there's some movies where I'm like, I'll watch it at some point, I guess. Aladdin is a little more on the completionist side than it is on the Super Jones side. But having said that, and this is both positive and negative, a large part of that is I know what the deal is. I know there's going to be a street rat, quote unquote. I know there's going to be a flying carpet. I've already seen it in the trailer. For me, that kind of takes away the fun. Now, the dumb thing is, or at least dumb because I'm saying this, I'm sure it makes more sense for everyone else. Those are all positives. Like, man, I can't wait to see the flying carpet in 3D, in live action and all that good stuff. But yeah, for me personally, I'm like, yeah, I don't know. I don't know about this one, man.
See, it's funny. Did you see Beauty and the Beast or Jungle Book or the other remakes that came out? I heard Dumbo was shit. Like, that was the most recent one, right?
Dumbo was recent, and Dumbo has issues, so I'll just leave it at that. And I don't want to get into bashing it unless you wanted to for some reason.
No.
Okay, so I will say, so I'm a huge animal person. I love animals. I love animals more than any guy I know. So, Jungle Book, oh my god. Oh. So, okay, a long time ago, Terminator 2 came out, and I remember thinking, this CG is blowing my mind. I cannot understand what's happening. And then I said, essentially, I want this to be the new standard. I want to lose my mind every time someone does like a morphing scene on screen. Like, I want to live that moment with the characters. I say all that because what Jungle Book was showing me with those animals, I'm like, I want every movie forever that has quote unquote real animals in it. I want it to look this good. I was digging it, man. I was digging it. It's awesome.
See, Jungle Book, I actually liked the recreation of it. Beauty and the Beast, I wasn't into it, honestly. That was a great animated movie.
True. I wasn't quite into it myself either, but completionist, I saw it. So
no, I saw it, not in theaters, but I saw it. I just didn't really enjoy it as much as the original. Little known fact, Beauty and the Beast was the first animated movie to be nominated for Best Picture Academy Award.
Yikes, that's amazing. Good.
That's how amazing that was at the time.
Okay, on that note, Toy Story 1, did you lose your mind?
Toy Story... Okay, so if we're saying that Aladdin was a little out of the age range, or like borderline out of the age range when it came out, Toy Story 1 was definitely out of the age range when that came out. Did I lose my mind? I mean, I saw it eventually. Okay. Eventually. Correct. And it was good, but I don't want to say I lose my mind. You know where I did lose my mind was Toy Story fucking 3. Just saying.
Is that the bear that's evil?
Yeah.
Okay. Why?
It hits you in the feels, man. Like, that's a really well put together movie.
Okay, I agree. Well, the reason why I mentioned Toy Story 1 was just, apparently, when that came out, people were like, whoa, this is amazing. The CG's blowing my mind. And I didn't see it in the theaters. And by the time I saw it, I'm like, yeah, whatever. Keeping it real, though, Final Fantasy VII FMVs blew my mind. They just straight up blew my mind. So, I mean, I guess you gotta be living in the moment, because no offense to Toy Story 1, I don't feel that way now. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Interesting. Toy Story 3. Wow, man. Maybe I need to watch it.
It's a great movie, just saying.
Okay.
Toy
Okay.
Story 4 coming out soon. We have to talk about that one on another show.
Yes, totally agree. Totally agree. Okay, anyway.
Anyway, so let's go back to Aladdin. Did you see the original marketing material where they were featuring Will Smith as the genie and the controversy that kind of came up from it?
I barely know it. I barely
So
know it.
they were on the cover of a magazine, and Will Smith, is featured as a big part of that cover, but he's not blue. So the
Ah,
initial outrage was like, "Oh my God, he's a genie, but you're not making him blue." And everyone they had to be like, "No, no, no, don't worry, he's gonna be blue."
okay.
And then they make him blue, and they show some of that, but arguably that looks even worse.
Here's the thing, right? I've seen many, many Will Smith movies. I know what the dude's face looks like. And for the most part, the dude never looks literally blue. So the moment he's blue, I'm like, it's fake. Like my brain fights it immediately because I know that's not him. I think that's a little unfair for him. Because in the same way, like the Hulk, green on screen, sometimes it works and sometimes it's like, yikes, can you tone down the contrast? I think it's not fair to him. That's all. I will say this. I'm a big fan of the Jennifer Lawrence X-Men movies, and a friend of mine, well, he dumps on all kinds of stuff because that's how he is. So anyway, he says to me, I'm watching the X-Men movie and man, there's a whole lot of blonde, white Mystique in that movie. And I'm like, yeah, whatever. And he's like, well, shouldn't she be blue with the scales and stuff? And I'm like, okay, hold on, man. They're going to pay a whole lot of money to get Jennifer Lawrence into this. You're going to see her normal, quote unquote. You're going to see her normal face. Because I was a little disappointed to see Will Smith looking normal in the trailer, actually. There's that part where I guess Aladdin is nervous to talk to Jasmine and Will Smith, Genie, is like, no, you're talking to her. Go ahead. I'm shooing you away now. And he looks not blue, which makes sense in that scene because otherwise people would freak out. For me, though, it's like, this is weird. I would like him to be blue all the time.
But see, that same argument works with what you're saying about the Jennifer Lawrence thing. You don't cast Will Smith in this movie and just make him blue all the time. In fact, a couple reviews that I read so far of this movie say that he is not blue more than he is blue.
Oh, wow. Wow. I remember I enjoyed The Mask a lot. And The Mask was the first time I heard this complaint/commentary from an actor. Jim Carrey was like, bruh, at the end of the day, I gotta take that thing off my face. And there is a puddle of sweat in there. It's gross. Essentially, I'm unhappy with the funky makeup all the time. But as a viewer of the movie, I'm like, man, it looks great. I love it. More of this. So I don't know what it takes to turn Will Smith blue, but I imagine that's something like if you were to ask the actor, hey man, do you want to sit in this chair for 6 hours? No. So like, oh, okay, let's see if we can minimize that. So I understand, but that is sad news. That's sad news to me.
See, the thing though is that I'm actually willing to bet because of the genie being the genie, I bet he doesn't even have to put on very much blue. I bet you most of it's CG.
Ooh, interesting. I don't know. I mean, that's a good point too. Well, that's what I would have assumed, which also on that note, I hate thinking like this because I want to just enjoy movies. But CG costs money, right? So having him float around as a big cloud probably costs a lot of money. So, hey, you know what, Will Smith, after you're done eating that burrito or whatever, can you come over here? We're going to film you looking normal. I'm sure that's a money-saving thing for them, which again, I hate thinking like that.
But okay, so what do you think overall as Will Smith casting as the genie?
More than once, I hear about some thing that I know and love, or maybe even barely know, but I know a character or two, and then I hear the casting, and even I'm like, yeah, man, I don't know about that casting, man. But then I see the thing and I'm like, damn, that was great. That casting was amazing. I've done this so many times already. And I've learned, and I'm just humble about it now. I suck at casting. I just suck at it. If you were to ask me, all right, there's a new, X-Men, sure, new X-Men coming. Cast them. And I'm like, wow, I don't know. Like, I have no idea. Will Smith, I'll say it this way. I have been impressed by Will Smith many times. I'm not quite at the point where if Will Smith is in it, just take my money, but I'm pretty close. Pretty close.
Interesting, really?
Yeah.
Wow, okay.
Yeah.
We'll go over some filmography in a bit.
Yeah.
I'm kind of like you in that I'm not a good caster either. I can't say like, oh, this guy would be great as the genie. I mean, no one replaces Robin Williams, period.
Correct.
You're going to have to put your own spin on it no matter what. I feel like Will Smith is a good family-friendly pick.
Also true. Yes.
I think it just works with his persona. It works with his previous work. I feel like of anyone they could have got, that is a good pick. And you have to get a star-studded genie, right? That kind of sticks to the Aladdin formula.
I don't know. I mean, no, I guess so. Yeah, I guess so. I knew Full House way better than I ever knew Aladdin. So yeah, the Full House guy I believe was Aladdin. So he wasn't a big name either. And I can't even tell you who was doing Jasmine's voice, but I can totally tell you Robin Williams was the genie. So good point.
Exactly. So, I mean, going down that line, so you say that Will Smith is not quite a take my money type guy, but he stands out to you because of previous roles?
Totally. I mean, okay, let's put it another way. He's way more, yo, just take my money already, than most actors, like straight up.
I would agree. I'm a Will Smith fan as well, but I feel like there have been a lot of misses along with the hits.
I get that. I mean, it's hard to be a badass 24/7, but for me, I still am at the point where I'm like, yeah, let's take the money. Okay, here's a great example. I've read comics with Deadshot in them. You know,
Okay.
I like Justice League stuff. I never would have casted Will Smith. And I remember when someone said, oh, it's going to be Will Smith. I'm like, all right, I have no idea, but I have faith. And straight up, I loved him as Deadshot. Like, just
Really?
take my money. Yeah, totally. I guess you didn't.
Okay, so Suicide Squad was good. I liked it more than a lot of other people did,
Definitely.
but I didn't like Deadshot.
Oh, wow.
I didn't.
Wow.
No, I didn't. Like,
Oh, wow.
again, I'm not familiar with the DC Deadshot character as much
Sure.
from the comics,
Sure.
but I'm not sure that I enjoyed that. I wanted more Joker. Honestly, I felt like I was robbed out
the
of
reason
Joker.
that happened. No, I'm kidding. Anyway.
Maybe I am the reason that happened, but I wanted way more Joker than Deadshot in that movie. I thought Joker was going to be a more central part of it. That definitely wasn't the case. Featuring Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn was really cool. I'm not quite sold on her either, to be honest.
Yes.
But I'm trying to think if she was better than Deadshot. Okay, I'm going to actually rank her under Deadshot in that movie, but I didn't really like Deadshot either.
Oh, damn.
But I really wanted more Joker.
I'll say this. I've never said the words, man, Margot Robbie's in it, I have to go see it. Or Margot Robbie. But I've seen a couple things with her. I'm like, oh, it's cool. Whatever. You know, cool lady. Let it be. Having said that, I loved her as Harley. I'm a huge Harley Quinn fan. And when they announced that whole deal, I'm like, all right, we'll just see how it goes. But I enjoyed her as well. So, okay, so like Guardians, right? For a lot of people like to do the comparison. I think it's a pretty apt comparison. Guardians to me is a Star-Lord story. There's a lot of other stuff going on. Groot's in there too. More Groot would have been fine by me. But anyway, there's a lot going on. Having said that, it's a Star-Lord story. On that note, Suicide Squad should have been a Deadshot story or a Harley story. Period. There was so much crap going on. And okay, anyway, the reason why I mention it in this case is Will Smith in that movie. Yes, I truly believe if Will Smith was not playing that character, I would have liked it way less. Like for me, he pretty much
Really?
saved the movie. I enjoyed the movie, and I believe he was a huge part of that. Yes.
Okay, so maybe my deal is not with Will Smith's portrayal of it, but maybe the writing was just bad. I don't know, because the writing was kind of bad. I kind of like it as a Deadshot story, but I really think if they put Jared Leto more at the center as the Joker and made it more around the Jared Leto and Margot Robbie, relationship part of that, I think it would have been way better. That's just my opinion, but
For the record, I believe there is a Harley-based movie coming, so that could be what you're looking for.
I hear you. I'm just saying they could have done the Suicide Squad a lot more justice by doing that in that movie. Just my opinion. Anyway,
Okay, so you know what? Yes, I have many writery things to say. It's cool. Moving on. Yes. Okay, I'll throw this down because this is one of the biggest compliments I've ever heard, and I thought it was great. So this was before I Am Legend was coming out, and I think this is from 60 Minutes. So anyway, Will Smith is being interviewed. Duh, he's the main character. And then the intro for that whole piece was the reporter saying, there are not a lot of guaranteed ways to make money in Hollywood. One of those ways is to have Will Smith in your movie. And I'm like, damn! And then I believe it was Independence Day was the one they referenced. This is, of course, back then. But a couple other things. And I'm like, you know what? I do feel that way. Will Smith is in it. Take my money, man. So that's how I feel. Now, I'm going to dump on one of his movies because I feel the way you do. There are some misses. I can't say it's all hits. After Earth was hard, man. That was hard. I don't know if you saw that.
I'm trying to look it up. Holy, 2013. M. Night Shyamalan, After Earth. Oh, that's the one where his son's in it too. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, it was rough. It was rough.
Okay, so I didn't even see it,
Oh, there you go.
and
Okay.
I think there's a good reason why.
What was your reason to not even try?
Well, okay, so for me, I'm not a completionist when it comes to movies like what you're talking about.
Yes.
There are some, like, for example, I'm gonna see Spider-Man Far From Home probably on opening weekend,
Okay.
but Aladdin, I might not see at all
Mm.
until maybe it comes to Netflix or some streaming service.
Sure. Sure.
So After Earth, right? Will Smith to me is awesome and fun to watch, but it's not like a every Will Smith movie I've got to go see.
I don't quite have the Jones. It's more like this. Sometimes before I watch a movie, I ask myself, will I regret watching this movie? Will I regret spending money on this movie? And my gut is usually, nah, it'll be alright. It's Will Smith. See, that's what I mean. After Earth, for the record, I'm pretty much like, I'm not a gambling man, but if I was, I'm fairly sure it was, hey, come watch my son.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, his name was not that big, so Will Smith is also in it. I'll put it to you this way. As a Will Smith fan, and I'm just going to spoil it now because I don't think anyone gives a rip. After Earth is about the father and the son, right? So what happens is the father gets injured badly and time to watch the son. And I'm like, oh, Will Smith is not going to leave the ship, huh? Okay, I hope it's good. Oh, well, here we go then. Yeah, like I felt like I got taken into a car without my choice and there was a knife held at me. Anyway, they're not all gems all the time, but I believe it's pretty good in general. Having said that, in the same sense, now Aladdin, I don't even know that guy and I don't know that woman who's playing Jasmine. There's plenty of people I do not know, but I do believe the genie scenes will be fine. I do believe that.
From what I read so far, it sounds like the non-blue genie scenes are actually the better scenes of the movie.
Oh, wow. I believe that.
That's been the general consensus. No spoilers here.
Sure, sure. I believe that, actually. Well, I mean, the flip side, too, is like, when he's blue, it has to be extra silly. So not blue would be, a little more grounded. So I can see that. I can see that.
It's funny you mentioned this interview or thing you read a while ago talking about Independence Day. So I'm going to read you a little bit of Will Smith filmography from around that time period.
Okay.
95, Bad Boys 1.
Mm-hmm.
96, Independence Day. 97, Men in Black 1. 98, Enemy of the State.
Oh, man.
99, Wild Wild West. 2000, Legend of Bagger Vance. 2001, Ali. The point I'm trying to make is most of those movies were critically well received.
I agree.
So there was a period of time during even what I would say our kind of more movie heyday-ish to where Will Smith was like a take my money kind of guy. Maybe that's why you feel that way.
Sure, sure.
But since then, there are such hits as After Earth, I Am Legend, which is kind of controversial, I think.
Oh, interesting.
I hear people like that, but I don't know if I liked it that much.
I enjoyed it, but it's also probably because I did not read the book. It's supposed to be quite different, but for me, it's like, no, man, I am at the point in my life where I get that there's a difference. Some people are still like, how dare you change these things? It's like, just everybody relax and enjoy the ride, please. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I'm aware it was different. It was fine. I enjoyed it. I thought it was good.
I think one of the big reasons why they got Will Smith as the genie in Aladdin is also because he is musical as well, right? He can sing, he can rap.
Yes, sure. I can see that.
So it kind of goes back to the origins of the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air and DJ Jazzy Jeff, all that stuff. Yes. And like how we talked about with the Lady Gaga episode, to where people transition between or from singing to movies.
So DMX, I used to follow him a lot, or at least I used to enjoy his music. I didn't know his deal until way later. But anyway, I enjoyed his music a lot. And then there were a couple of DMX movies. I also enjoyed those movies. And I remember seeing an interview with him and he was like, bruh, movies are better. And then of course the reporters, oh, why do you say that? He goes, in music, everybody takes their cut, man. It's ridiculous. Everyone takes their cut. But in movies, you actually get paid. I'm like, wow, it's not too often you hear someone talking from both sides of the spectrum. And it was fascinating because for him, it was like, it wasn't even close. If he had to choose an avenue, I know where he's going. So on that note, I have thought to myself, I enjoyed Will Smith music, and I hear none these days. It's unfortunate. In other countries, I've been told it's quite normal, and I've seen that it's quite normal to be on both in a popular song as well as in a popular movie. But in America, for whatever reason, there's a very clear wall, and it's hard to break.
Will Smith did that song last year for the World Cup, "Live It Up."
Man, I did not know that. I feel kind of silly right now. I'll dig that up. Interesting.
No, it was pretty good. I mean, it's a compilation though, right? Like with other artists, but it's pretty good.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
Meep in the chat. Oh, no spoilers. I don't know how we can spoil a 30-year-old movie, but hey, we'll try. We'll try our best.
Yes. Let's talk about a positive thing that's fun for me. So this is from the original Aladdin. There's a part where I'll say talking lion face says, "Who disturbs my slumber?" That whole scene, I remember watching it just like sparkly eyes, like, man, this is so cool. I'm loving all this. I need to lose my mind when I see that in this movie. I need to lose my damn mind. Okay, I have to be super impressed, and the CG better be ridiculous. Because that looked...
I don't want to disappoint you already. And maybe that's a spoiler for the non-30-year-old movie.
You're killing me. Okay, sorry, go ahead.
I don't know for sure what it looks like. I'm just saying, from what I read, it sounds underwhelming. That's all I'm saying.
Because that scene in the cartoon, I remember I'm like, man, this is cool. This is so cool. And the lava, also cool. So, yeah, that sounds like a kick in the face. I'm not going to lie, the talking lion, again, I love animals. The talking lion head of the cave entrance, that was a selling point for me in my own head. Like, if I had to convince myself to go, that'd be part of it. So hearing that, deflated balloon. Yes. Wow. I came across something very interesting that I was not aware of. So first I'm going to ask you, were you aware of this? Chat, if you do or do not know, throw it down, please. Apparently, before The Matrix was filmed, they approached different people to be Neo. One of those people was Will Smith. Were you aware of this?
I was not aware of it back then. I am aware of it after doing the research for this episode.
Yeah, I bumped into that later. I was like, what? I did not know that. Okay, so here's another thing. I have never said these words. Oh man, Keanu Reeves is in it. I better go watch it. Like, I've never said that ever. Having said that, that is so unfair to him. He's in multiple things that I freaking love, Oh wait, before I move on from here, I'm going to ask you this, Chris. Do you have a favorite trilogy of all time?
Favorite trilogy of all time?
Now, just to massage it a little, if it's a 5-movie series or 7-movie series, you can just pick 3 that you like. So you can throw away, quote unquote, the bad one. But trilogy, yes. Any thoughts?
You know what my first thought is? If you had asked me this like when I was growing up, I would have said Back to the Future, hands down.
Ooh.
But I don't think that's true anymore. I have to really think about how that holds up to some of the other trilogies that have come out. I won't say Star Wars because I like Star Wars, but not that much.
Bingo. Right. I know that feeling.
I'm not huge on Lord of the Rings either. I mean, I like Lord of the Rings, but I won't say that I love Lord of the Rings.
Sure. I get that.
What would be a good trilogy? I don't know, man. Like,
Chad, if you got a favorite trilogy, throw it down. I was told, because I asked multiple people this, I was told, man, that's a really loaded question. And now that I think about it, it is, right? Like, if you've been alive for more than 1 decade, or more than 2 decades, or 3, however many decades you've been alive, that's a lot of movies. I thought about this, and I'm going to put an asterisk here. This is before the next Mission Impossible comes out, and this is before Deadpool 3. Now, having said that, I realized my favorite trilogy of all time is John Wick. Right now, it's the John Wick movies.
Interesting.
Dude, I loved all of them, and I had such a blast when I saw part 3 recently. So much fun, man. My writer mode, just shakes whenever I think about the world building in it. So good. The action, so good. It also inspired one of my other favorite movies, Atomic Blonde. Loved it like crazy. So just, man, nothing but happy thoughts for John Wick.
I have not seen John Wick 3, but I also have not seen John Wick 1 or 2, so I have no comment on that whatsoever. I heard it was good.
Is there a reason?
Just never got into it. It's one of those things that I never started, so I never continued.
Okay, fair enough. The reason why I say all that is I still don't say the words, I'm a Keanu Reeves fan, which right now just feels like a travesty. It's not fair to him, but it doesn't work in my head. Having said that, I do still say I'm a Will Smith fan, even with the quote-unquote misses.
Interesting you bring up the whole Will Smith turned down The Matrix, because what I wanted to get into was A huge thing that Will Smith has done recently, and by recently, I mean within the past year-ish, is that he's made the transition to YouTube.
Oh, I knew
And
about Facebook, but not YouTube. Okay,
no, Will Smith has a incredibly popular YouTube channel.
fascinating.
One of the videos on there that I have not yet watched but intend to after this show is why I turned down The Matrix.
Oh, I did not know that was a thing. I absolutely have to now. Wow.
If you watch other YouTubers, they comment actually on how people like Will Smith and other notables like Jack Black are transitioning into platforms that are outside of their repertoire. Like YouTube was initially created for like jackasses like you and me to post videos of ourselves online and
Yes.
say, hey, this is what I think about stuff, or hey, here's my entertainment. It was an idea that allowed entertainment to spread out across everyone. So it's interesting to see that people from, as they describe, mainstream entertainment transitioning over. Will Smith is actually one of the more successful people to do so. There was a thing for his 50th birthday last
Yeah,
year
see that one.
where he
Yeah.
bungee jumped out of a helicopter.
Yeah, something crazy.
And that was huge. I'm looking at it right now, 19 million views on YouTube.
Wow.
Sparta in the chat.
Yo,
yes,
Sparta.
he did turn down The Matrix. He should have been Neo or had a chance to be Neo before Keanu Reeves. We'll watch this video later, maybe even on stream.
I will say this, and for me, this is one of the reasons why I really like Will Smith. Okay, before I get to that, let's do a joke because this is from that same interview in 60 Minutes, and I liked it. So the reporter goes, "Yeah, what's up with you, man? How do you do this? You know, like, surely there's a secret. You know, tell me the secret." And then he says, "I work really hard. You know, like I do everything really hard. All right. Like when the other guy's asleep, I'm still going hard. Like when I work hard. When I play hard. In bed, you know what? You know, we're not going to go there." And
Hey, well, you know.
Exactly. Right. So it's like, oh, nice. That's funny. But his work ethic is ridiculous. I believe it was Will Smith. It could have been someone else, but I believe it was Will Smith where he goes, "This is my philosophy. So let's say I'm at the gym. Alvin is at the gym. Some other dude rolls up. Doesn't matter who it is. I'm on a bike. The other guy gets on the bike. Whatever. I don't care. I have my X amount of minutes and I'm going to be done and I'm going to leave because that's my game plan. I'm going to do my own thing. I have things to do." So Will Smith says, "When I'm on a treadmill and someone else gets on a nearby treadmill, it's on. Like, I don't care if they don't know me. I don't know what." And he's like, "I am going to run until this person over here gets off first." And then he says, "And I am willing to die before I get off before the other person." And I remember like, wow, man, first of all, that's really intense. Second of all, that's some serious work ethic, that competitive drive. I believe Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson has some similar kind of stuff where he's like always be the hardest worker in the room. Great line. When I think about this, when I hear him say stuff like he works so hard and all that stuff, I'm like, man, I want him to do well. I'm sure he's got some bad things in his past as well. But like everything I've seen, I'm like, man, I want him to do well. And I believe that's one reason why the YouTube thing is taking off so well, because he's being the likable guy.
It's funny you talk about the treadmill thing. I watched a video very recently, maybe a couple days ago, that was highlighting the scene in Captain America, the Winter Soldier, where Falcon is running around the National Washington Monument. And then Steve Rogers passes him on your left. And then he passes him again on your left. And then he like Falcon tries to like run and catch up to him on your left. And it's so like, oh, well, I guess it wouldn't work in that case. But
Yes.
but that's when you're going up against a super soldier. But hey.
Okay, so Street Fighter stuff. I don't know if I'm alienating people, but I'm definitely a big Street Fighter guy. So in Street Fighter, there's Ryu and Ken. They're like the two main ones. And Ken, the way he's portrayed is he's the natural. He just rolls up in there and he's great at fighting. And Ryu, the way he's portrayed is he works like crazy, trains all the time. And I know who I'm rooting for out of those two every time. And in the case of like Will Smith, I Am Legend. He has a ridiculous 6-pack because that's part of the trailer, I think. That's part of the movie. He's just fit because he has to stay alive and all that good stuff. You know, like they show him working out. They show the work ethic that goes into it. All of that stuff. Love it, man. Love it.
So while you were going over that awesome Will Smith work ethic montage, I looked up some movie trilogies, and you know what?
Okay.
I might have to stick with Back to the Future being my favorite.
Okay, fair enough.
I know number 3 kind of sucks, but it's just the way.
What you bring up a good point, okay? Terminator 2, I love the crap out of that movie. 1 and 3, eh. So I had to think, what do I like all 3 movies of? For me, definitely John Wick, and also a close contender was How to Train Your Dragon. I love the
Interesting.
crap. All 3 of them, man. I love the crap out of them. Man, I love them so much. Just the world building, the action, everything. Just spot on. Everything was spot on. Loved it.
So yes, Will Smith, big actor, makes a transition to YouTube, gets millions of views per video. Very interesting when I was doing the research here. Aladdin movie trailer is on Will Smith's YouTube channel.
That makes sense.
Well, sort of. That means that it's on his personal YouTube channel, or whatever you want to call it, right?
Sure. Right.
So technically, he gets the, we'll say, royalties from it. It's got 24 million views. In theory, that means he's cashing in on it, in theory, unless he inks some kind of deal with Disney. Does that support the movie or does that detract? It's weird. It's the first time I've seen something like that, an actual movie trailer on not the actual official company website.
Chris, do you know what a golden parachute is? Have you heard of that term?
I've heard the term.
Okay, so golden parachute is like, let's say I own Costco and I want that guy over there. I want guy X to come run my Costco or my Walmart or whatever. And then I say to him, hey, I want to hire you. You're a great mind. Come work for me. Then he says, nah, man, I don't want to. And I'm like, hold on. Let me tell you about the cool package that I'm going to give to you if you work for me. So a golden parachute is essentially, you come work for me. Here's all the amazing things. By the way, if you quit, you still get amazing things. I've heard of some golden parachute things where they get paid. They get paid $1 million to quit. It's stupid. I don't know what it takes to say, Will Smith, I want you in my movie. I don't know what that speech is. I'm fairly sure part of it is, you have a YouTube channel? Dude, here you go. You can do this. Like, Disney is too big to not have thought of it. I'm sure there's some kind of negotiations there.
True that.
Yeah.
Meep in the chat, Shrek is not bad. I guess it's for a trilogy.
Oh,
Shrek is pretty good too.
That's a good point.
And of course, Lord of the Rings. Yeah,
Nice.
Lord of the Rings, like I said, I like it, but I'm just not in love with it.
I get that.
And maybe Game of Thrones has spoiled that for me. I don't know.
Okay,
but yeah.
Interesting.
Shrek, though, is a good suggestion. I didn't
Shrek
see
is a
that
good one.
on the Google search, but that's a good suggestion.
On that note, I enjoyed Pitch Perfect 1 and 2 a lot. 3, not as much. Yeah, see? So there's a lot of trilogies. Yeah.
No, okay, so you say that. Pitch Perfect 3 is what kills it for me. If 3 was a little better, because I like 1 and I kind of like 2. If 3 was a little better, then that would be up there too.
Agreed. Totally agreed. Yeah, see? But it's hard to be badass 3 movies in a row. That's why, like, Deadpool 3, I got my fingers crossed. I enjoyed 1 and 2 so much that, yeah, if I even remotely like Deadpool 3, probably first place.
So on the search that I did do, 2 of the trilogies that were there that I think is a little unfair to include, but they do kind of count, were Iron Man and Captain America.
Oh, hold up. Did you like Iron Man 2 and 3?
They were okay. No, I'm just saying it came up with
other
search.
people.
I would have went the other way at Captain America, because I actually, I really like Winter Soldier and Civil War, and I kind of like the first one too. So that is another one up there. I just don't know if that's fair, because there's so much other movies that support that.
Correct.
To just isolate those 3 and say that's my favorite trilogy, I don't know, because I feel like you're affected by all the other ones.
Also true. See, the unfair thing is, or for me, the opposite would be, I love Cap 1 so much. Winter Soldier, probably one of my favorites. And then Civil War, which I did enjoy, it did not feel like a Cap movie. So for me, it feels like I should not count it as a trilogy. Having said that, Avengers Part 1, loved it. Endgame, Infinity War, loved it. Ultron, not so much. But then as my friend said, she was like, if you cut out the second one, like you said, right, you can choose. I'm like, oh, you're right. If I cut out the second Avengers, the others are pretty cool, and they're actually pretty high for me. But like you said, though, it's a hard call. Like, are we judging 3 movies or 22? It's not quite the same animal.
Meep in the chat, no, Alvin, all movies from Captain were perfect.
Whew, okay. I love them. I love them so much. Yeah.
I really like the Captain America if you take that as a trilogy, but I feel like Endgame just maximizes that even more for me. So I don't know how to feel about that. If I just took them by itself, because I feel so much stronger with Infinity War and Endgame in there.
By the way, I'm gonna throw this down, especially with Meep's comment. One of the reasons why I love Captain America: First Avenger so much is when he's quote unquote Skinny Steve, aka the loser, aka the guy who gets beaten up a lot. Peggy was kind of digging him already. She could appreciate his qualities already. And that made me love that movie so much. He was not the special guy after the serum. He already was the special guy. Like, that's how he got the super soldier serum. He was chosen. You know, he was the guy who jumps on the grenade. Man, that's Skinny Steve. I love that so much. And then later on, he's a badass. Oh, love it even more. That's Take My Money.
Yeah, he totally has the best origin story. Yep, you hit it on the
It's so nice. I love it. Yeah, it's so nice. Yeah. Actually, on that note, I don't normally cry during movies, and I'm not mocking you because you were very open about this. You cried during Endgame.
Yes.
Like, all those trilogies we just talked about, did you cry during any of them?
No.
See? So for me, that deserves a gold star or something, you know, like...
Well, okay. Well, that's just Endgame, though. That's different. That's because that was not a trilogy. That was a 22-minute movie eulogy.
True.
So.
That's true. That's not... Yeah, it's a different animal.
Meep in the chat, I think it's because it doesn't feel like a trilogy. See, that's the thing.
Agreed?
It is a trilogy just in name, but you're right. It doesn't feel like a trilogy. But what is a trilogy and is about to be reprised very soon, Will Smith, well, not in the new one, but Men in Black. What are your thoughts on Men in Black, the trilogy?
Hold on now. I think we're beyond 3, right?
No, this is going to be 4.
Okay, there we go. Yeah.
I'm just saying there was already a trilogy with Will Smith.
Okay, so on that note, MIB 1, hands down one of my favorite movies of all time in the writer sense. I have dissected it. I enjoy it. There's so much going on. Loved it. Part 3, almost cried. Loved it that much. Great scenes. Part 2 makes me want to cry. Part 2 hurts me. And it's like, you can tell the flavor of 2 was so different. The perfect example was there's a scene where the main bad guy, she eats someone and then she burps. Like, the way it's portrayed is like slapsticky, kind of silly. Couldn't get into it. If 4 solves that at all, then it will rank much higher. Yeah, because I love 3 and I love 1, but 2 just no.
So I think 4 is going to be, outside of the story. They're not going to
yeah, it's true.
allude to the other trilogy that much. Now, interesting you say your own reviews, because on Rotten Tomatoes, Will Smith, highest rated movie, Men in Black 1, 92% Rotten Tomatoes. Wow. Men in Black 3, 68%, still good. Men in Black 2, 39%, absolutely horrible.
I believe it. Yeah, I believe it.
And I feel the same way too.
Yeah, it was weird.
That's the thing with these aggregate rankings. Like, I hate to say that they kind of skew the vision a little bit, but that's okay, because the point of it being aggregate is it kind of appeals to the general population of people.
True.
Now, despite things that I read, I will let you know, Aladdin, as of today, which is opening night for us normies, 60%.
Well, I mean, it's mixed, so I would have went a little higher, but okay. That's cool, though. I mean, like you said, that range is still pretty good, right? In their world, their numbers.
So I'll continue down the list in terms of other ones that he's been in. Karate Kid, I don't think counts very much. I Am Legend, 69%. Pursuit of Happiness, 67. ATL, 61. Hitch, 68. Saving Face, 86. This is a producer in these two. Never mind. He wasn't even in the actual movie itself. Hitch was great for a standard rom-com. I agree.
Oh, dude, yeah.
I liked Hitch.
I surprised myself with how much I enjoyed it. I was like, wow, yeah, that was fun.
Independence Day, 64. I'm surprised is that low. 80% Where the Day Takes You. 67% Ali. 71 Enemy of the State. Yeah, so there's more misses than hits, and that's kind of sad. But it doesn't really mean that he himself is bad in his roles. Like you said, you really like the Deadshot character, and I wouldn't say that it's bad per se. Suicide Squad sits at a whopping 27% in Rotten Tomatoes.
Okay, hold on. I gotta throw this down. Because first of all, yikes. Okay, so anyway, second of all, I have to remember the Captain Marvel thing, right? If enough people want to dump on something, they can mobilize and dump on it. Now, Suicide Squad, I agree, has its issues. Having said that, MCU movies also have their issues. But their fan base, like, it's piranhas, man. If they don't like something, the gauntlet is thrown down and it's on. I don't know what level Suicide Squad would be, but I do believe absolutely it would be higher if it wasn't for that animosity.
Probably. I think the expectations are just way too high based on what was originally shown.
Well, that was the one comment I saw once, and I agree. Marketing department, S+. You guys made that movie look amazing.
As opposed to some marketing departments making the movie not look so amazing, like, say, Aladdin. And so maybe that's why people are not as hard on it. In the chat, Suicide was overhyped for sure. I agree. It was way overhyped for what actually came out.
I don't know if I felt overhyped for it. But I did look forward to it. I'm trying to think of something that felt too hyped for me. Actually, I'm going way back here, but Avatar, the blue people, not the airbender guy. Avatar, blue people, I could not stop hearing about it. It was straight up obnoxious. And then when I finally saw it, I'm like, bro, this is Fern Gully. My writer mode spits. Like, why is everyone tripping over this, man? Hell no. I'm going to say what my ex-girlfriend said to me at the time, because I think she knew my writer mode was going to just take a dump on this one thing. And she goes, yes, Alvin, it is called unobtainium. I'm like, what? Wait, what? Yeah. The rare metal is called unobtainium. I'm like, no. And I'm making the face right. Anyway.
You're talking about the number one movie of all time, mind you. Avatar. Just saying. I don't think Endgame's beat it yet. It probably will, but
I believe so.
Just saying.
It's funny because I love the ocean and coral and all that kind of stuff. I love that look, the colorful backdrops and stuff. Avatar had a lot of that because we're Fern Gully. We're visiting the world. It still didn't do enough for me. And yeah, the 3D thing, I'm like, guys, calm down. Damn, man. But I guess 3D also, I couldn't get into it. Anyway.
To kind of rope it back to the original topic, interestingly enough, you mentioned Fern Gully, and it's interesting how he got here. Robin Williams, also in Fern Gully, as that bat, the rapping bat. So I saw a documentary type thing recently that said that Robin Williams actually signed on to Fern Gully before signing on to Aladdin.
Huh, interesting.
And technically, Disney wasn't supposed to market Aladdin using Robin Williams' voice and character. That was like a little gentleman's agreement they had. But part of the reason why they went back on their agreement is that he continued to be in Fern Gully even after doing Aladdin. So Fern Gully started production way earlier. Robin Williams said, I'm going to be this bat. He agrees to do Aladdin for like minimum quote unquote wage at the time, like Screen Actors Guild minimum, versus what he's normally worth. Except he's like, I don't want you to use my voice to sell toys, because that's not what I'm about. And then Disney's like, okay, cool, thanks. But then they're like, well, why are you in Fern Gully? He's like, well, I signed to Fern Gully first. They're like, we don't care. We're going to use all your shit. And then they use all of his voice and likeness to sell toys. And he got super pissed afterwards.
Do you know why Natalie Portman was not in, I'll just say, multiple movies?
Multiple movies?
Multiple MCU things. There we go.
Oh, yeah. There was a disagreement that over the director of Thor: The Dark World, right?
I think there's a couple others, but yeah, stuff like that. I can see an actor, or in this case, actress, being upset. But hey, man, like, that's so meta. That's not the writer, that's not the script. That's just outside. But of course, it leaves a bad taste in the mouth. So it's unfortunate to hear.
Lazy in the chat, Fern Gully was pogged. Yeah, dude, like Fern Gully.
Yeah, dude,
it was a thing, like it had its own message. It was a thing that happened. I'm not gonna say that it was, oh my god, amazing, but it did its job, I think.
It did. Okay, writer mode. This is from American Dad. And the wife of the main character picks up the phone and she says, hi, my sister who is 3 years younger than me. How are you doing? Wait, was that a weird way to answer the phone? So of course they're making fun of how some dialogue comes out. This is an Avatar. And I made a face and I made a noise. And my then girlfriend had to stop and hit the stop button because she was like, what happened? I'm like, there's a scene where someone, I believe he's getting out of a jet. And he gives this huge backstory. I mean, the equivalent would be like, hi, my name is Alvin, and I like to draw, and I like to write. I'm like, okay. So anyway, we're over here talking about, this fight that's happening or whatever. Like, it makes no sense. It was terrible dialogue. It stabbed me in the eye. It was just like, ugh. And all I could think was, is this the thing people won't shut up about? Because I keep hearing about it, and that dialogue stabbed me in the eye. So anyway, I'm still unhappy about Avatar. I'm sorry. There you go. I'm still there. It's ridiculous. Unobtainium, man. Gotta get that unobtainium.
It's a thing.
Unobtainium. Oh, okay.
So reel it back. Let's take a step back from Avatar. Another reason why Will Smith gets the roles that he does, we mentioned this earlier, is that he also does the musical track for the movie in general. Have you seen the Prince Ali promo thing that went out?
Fascinating. No. I hope it's cool.
I liked it. And
okay.
It kind of drew some opinions on both sides of the fence. Some people saying that he can never be Robin Williams, which he can't. Some people liking the twist he put on it.
Okay.
But he sings all the songs that Robin Williams sings in this new Aladdin movie.
Okay, hold on. Now, I have to say this. So, I saw Beauty and the Beast, and they, of course, had the songs that I expected because I know those songs. And then I remember sitting there like, the hell is this? I found out later they added a song that did not exist in the original movie. Now, the reason why I mention all that is I know the Aladdin songs. If he didn't sing all the Aladdin songs, I'd be like, oh, what's up, bruh? Well, you're too busy to sing all the songs. So I guarantee you, he would have had the same amount of crap, but just floating the other way.
So that being said,
yes,
and we'll throw it to the chat as well. Alvin, favorite Will Smith song?
Oh, okay. So it's a toss up. I'm gonna go on two things here. The MIB song, I still enjoy it. I rarely hear it, but when I do, I still dig it. And the other one would be Getting Jiggy with It. That term became a thing. It was ridiculous. I remember hearing it on the news. I'm like, is this reporter saying Jiggy? What is happening in this world? Good job. Good for you, Will Smith. I dig his music. I have fun with it. It's nice.
So I'm going to echo Getting Jiggy with It just because of the phenomenon of what it was.
It was silly.
But I have a soft spot for Wild Wild West. And maybe that's just because of Cisco, but...
Oh, okay.
Wild Wild West is a cool-ass song.
Chris, I'm going to throw this down while people are responding, which is awesome. But there was this guy a long time ago. I don't remember his name. They asked him to direct a Superman movie. And he said, okay, I'll do it. Then that man said, I want there to be a giant spider in this movie. And everyone's like, dude, what are you saying? I want a giant spider in this movie. And eventually it became a point where I was like, maybe you need to step off of this project, bro. And that guy is no longer a part of it, or he wasn't part of that movie. Then Wild Wild West came out, which had a giant spider. I remember sitting there thinking, what is going on? Okay, whatever, giant spider. That was the same director. I guess for whatever reason, he has ridiculous Spider Jones. And that instead of being in a Superman movie, it was in the Wild Wild West movie.
That's crazy. Interesting.
Okay.
No, I forgot about that part of Wild Wild West. I must have
Yeah, it's weird. Like it's
blocked
a
out of my
steampunk
mind.
giant. Yeah.
Albie Ruru in the chat. His cover of Just the Two of Us was cute with Jaden. That's a good
that was
one, too.
nice. I did
yes,
like that.
It definitely was. I'm totally into that. I'm just gonna say it's no Getting Jiggy, but it is good.
Oh. Okay, before I get to my last thing, I will say I loved Hancock a lot. I enjoyed that movie thoroughly, and I'm sad there aren't more Hancock movies. Do you know that movie?
I know of it. I don't actually remember seeing it. Maybe highlights of it. I just looked it up. 41% Rotten Tomatoes, but continue your story.
Sad face. Yeah, but so anyway, he's essentially the unconventional superhero, and this was before the 22 Marvel movies, I'm pretty sure it was before, and various DC movies. So it kind of came out on its own, and I had a great time with it. My friend, who I call Serial, Serial said it would be cool to get a Hancock prequel because of how they described the story. I'm like, yeah, that would be cool. Of course, it never happened. But now that I think about it, I'm like, I wonder what it would be like if it came out now. Because the way he's portrayed in the trailer, I believe it's like he's pretty much a hobo with superpowers, doesn't care about anything, drinks a lot, that kind of stuff. If that came out right now, I wonder how huge that would be. That would be Charlize Theron in a superhero movie.
See, the funny part about that is that it did come out now, and it's called Deadpool 1 and 2.
Ooh, I know, right? I get that.
The whole anti-hero, I have these powers, but I don't know. I sort of use them, I sort of don't use them. I make fun of them kind of thing.
Yes.
So I think you know exactly how it would come out now. Granted, it would probably have to been done a little better, and it probably wouldn't be as iconic because Deadpool is a very recognizable character as opposed to Hancock. But you kind of see the flavor versus 10 years ago.
Okay, Chris, I have one Hancock joke. This is from the MTV Awards, and I don't think I'm ever going to have a place to say it, so I'm going to throw it here. It's Will Smith and the other actor, and they go on stage, and everybody's like, "Whoa!" Freaking out, Will Smith, whoa, right? And then he goes up to the mic, and he's like, "When I say Will, you say Smith, Will Smith," right? Over and over, Will Smith. I'm like, "Yeah, it's fun." And then the co-star's like, "Yo, hold on, let me try that." Okay, yeah, here you go. When I say Han, you say no. Whoa, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. Okay. Anyway.
I like it.
So a long time ago, I heard about stuff for The Matrix, and I didn't really put two and two together. It was just ho hum. I wasn't following it that much. So anyway, I love Jet Li. Pretty much. Oh, Jet Li is Take My Money, actually. Yeah, there you go. Whatever he's in, I'm like, cool. I'll check. Yeah. I'm a big Jet Li fan. Do you remember Seraph from the Matrix movies? Does that name sound familiar? Okay, so anyway, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. There's a guy who bodyguards or is the guard of the Oracle. That man does not speak clear English. I believe he was Asian. Anyway, really good at martial arts. So there's a scene where Neo fights that guy, and then Seraph says, "Hold on, we can stop fighting. I just had to make sure you're the real deal. Come on in." And I realized, oh my God, that could have been Jet Li. That was probably that was his character. Not a lot of lines, but incredible fight choreography. And then Jet Li, I think his wife got pregnant or something, but real life happened, and he was a good man, and he said, "No, I'm a pass." Now, knowing that Jet Li almost was in it, and also Will Smith was almost Neo, I'm like, man, we would have had a very, very, very different Matrix movie, or a couple of movies. That would have been interesting.
Very, very interesting, actually, the way that turned out if Will Smith was Neo. All right, so any final thoughts on Will Smith before we cut the recording?
So someone asked him something like, you're a big name now, and you're here now, but what was it like for you day one? How were you? And I think it was him and or a couple other celebrities, but the commentary was essentially, I knew I was going to be here. And it's funny because on one hand, of course, the response some people would say is, "Oh, bro, you're so full of it. You just assume you're going to be a millionaire one day or whatever." But the flip side is how I feel about it, which is, no, I don't feel that way at all.
Yeah.
So just think about, okay, you know high school sports, right? But like, think about some player going up to the coach and said, "Coach, I suck. I'm never going to be good." I'm pretty sure the coach is going to crap all over that. You don't say it like that. You try your best. You work hard, have faith, envision bigger and better things. That's exactly what Will Smith was doing back then. And here he is now. Now, I'm not saying everyone who does that in their mind can achieve the same amount. I would hope they can. But I do believe that is like step one, a big step one to being successful. And I like that he owns it. I like that he says, yeah, even back in those days when I wasn't making a lot of money, I still believed I was going to do this. I still believed that was in my future. And that for me is like, dude, love it. Support you, man. I totally support you.
The one thing I appreciate about Will Smith is the transformation of what he becomes. He adapts to the industry incredibly well. From being the Fresh Prince, from doing the whole rap gig, he's then turned into the movie star, to which he kind of plays a lot of similar characters, but he's had his crazy roles like Ali and I Am Legend, things like that too. And now to make the jump to YouTube, which is crazy. You don't see very many people doing that, but he found a way to make that work in today's environment. And I appreciate someone who can understand the changing landscape of entertainment and media. And I think that's awesome. And also, he's a genie.
Yes, also good. Chris, I gotta throw this down, man. I gotta add this on to what you just said. So when he did Ali, of course, he had to study Ali, try to talk like him, move like him. And I believe, I don't remember if it was the wife or like the daughter, but someone who was related to Ali was just straight up crying. And they're like, what's wrong? What's going on? And for that person, it was like, I am seeing Ali resurrected, revived, whatever, reincarnated into this man. I'm like, that is an incredible performance. When family can react that way, friends and family react that way to your performance, ridiculous. So yes, a man who works very hard. Love it. Love it.
We want to thank you all for joining us this week while we jumped into our favorite Will Smith movies and songs in preparation for Aladdin that I might not even see and Alvin probably will.
Yes.
If you like what you're listening to, you can check us out on all the popular podcast services, including iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, Stitcher, and iHeartRadio now. We just got onto that platform. It's actually harder than you think. Kind of interesting. Follow us on social media at Housing Network, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram to catch up and see the latest things. Once again, we are broadcasting live on twitch.tv/Housing Network. So if you follow the social media, it'll let you know when we're broadcasting so you can jump in the chat, hang out with us like everyone else here. Thank you very much, chat, today.
And if you like that Alvin goodness, please visit alohalvin.com. I am working on a very big project. Please check again. I will be announcing things there. And of course, I write like the way I speak, so if you enjoyed me today, you'll enjoy that site too.
And if you want to see more of me, I'm at HowsItChris on Twitter. You can check up the funniest memes or latest hashtag I'm posting about or embarrassing myself on the internet. Once again, we want to thank you all for lending us your beautiful ears. And it's not goodbye. We shall see you later.